Good morning. My name is Bill Bestpitch, and I have the honor and privilege of being your worship associate this morning. Please take just a moment to put your hearts, your minds, and your cell phones in worship mode. I use he, him pronouns, but I'm not offended if you want to use something else. Okay. We welcome everyone who's here with us this morning, bundled up, I hope, and everyone who is online for the service at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. And a special welcome to anyone who may be joining us for the very first time. We hope that you'll stay after the service for coffee in our fellowship hall, which is beyond the accordion doors that'll be wide open after the service. So please stay and have a little coffee and conversation. So let's take just a second to turn around and wave to the folks who are watching us from home, sitting on the couch in their pajamas, where it's probably a little bit warmer than it is in here. We're happy to have them with us as well. And if anyone who is watching online wants to share something in the joys and concerns portion of the service, please put that in the chat within the next 15 minutes. We acknowledge that our church resides on traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black and Indigenous people of color. May our gratitude and our fellowship here honor that rich history. Our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur. He is, as I think most of you know, at least on medical leave at this time. And our service today will be honoring our volunteers with lots and lots of people involved in helping you know what our different committees and teams are doing. So please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And now our covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world. And now, Matt Livingston, here's Matt, give us an update on the gym camp.
Thanks, Bill. A couple dates to first keep in mind. We have in the corner, I think the only poster that stayed on the wall was for this coffee house. That's going to be this Saturday night, April 13th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That's going to be music and poetry put on by people in the congregation. If you haven't expressed interest and you're interested, come see me. But there have been about 15 people in the congregation that are going to come here and do their stuff for you. So please come and enjoy that night of good fellowship, and that should be a great night. April 26th, Friday night. Jesse's going to help me with this, I think. Karaoke night. Just come, okay? Don't plan, don't think. Just come and do. And you'll be surprised at what happens on a karaoke night. And then on May 4th, we're going to transform this room into a first-class dining experience. We're going to have Tyler Coles come with some words for us for the evening, and that's going to be really the culmination of the campaign. So there are a couple things. One, if you're interested in pledging, you can go ahead and do that. My advice would be to wait until about May 4th so that you can be fully inspired when it comes time to think about what you want to do. And that's what all these events are really meant to do, is kind of build some inspiration. The final thing, after the service today, there'll be an information session if you really want to understand more about the church's finances, around what we do to bring money in, about how we spend money and how we go through those things. There'll be information, opportunity to ask questions, possibly walk away inspired, and possibly walk away with this book of poems and art from Bob and Sue Egbert. We're giving one of these away at each of the info sessions, so you have a chance for that. And yeah, that's how we'll leave it today. Thank you.
Our opening words are by Margaret McCarty, who said, "The nicest thing about teamwork is that you always have others on your side." That was Margaret Carty, I'm sorry. Bill's going to light the chalice now.
And as I do, I just want to remind you that this is a time when Unitarian Universalist congregations all up and down the Eastern Time Zone are doing the same thing. And hour by hour, it will happen all the way across the country. So we light the chalice this morning in honor of our faith and our connection with all those other UUs.
Hi, I am Jessie. If you've been on the voice saga with me, it's coming back. I use they, them pronouns, and I'd like to invite up anyone who is young at heart to join me up here. We have a little bit of a quiz show to do. I know. I ask you guys enough questions, I'm sure. But this one should be a pretty easy answer. What is a volunteer? Someone who volunteers. Well done. Absolutely correct. Someone who volunteers to do something. What does it mean to volunteer? To ask, to give. Do volunteers get paid? No, yeah, they usually don't. Sometimes we give them pizza. Yeah, hey, so that's a good enough payment for these guys, just so you know. Sometimes they get a very big 2 words, starts with a thank, ends with a U. Thank you. Yes, we give them a very big thank you. Have you guys ever volunteered for anything? I can tell you what you volunteered for. Just a couple weeks ago, you volunteered to collect the noisy offering. And you made banks to take home to collect change. Some of you. Yeah, if you weren't here, don't worry about it. And you're volunteering to put effort out there to do the work of getting money for the church. Do you guys want to know how much you made in your noisy offering? $160. Well done, well done. Oh, y'all, stop being sarcastic. They weren't here. What else have you volunteered for? A part in a play. What about in classrooms? Do you ever hand out papers? Your teacher makes you. That's called voluntelling. You guys do a lot of stuff here. You guys, if everybody out there can turn over your order of service, on the back, there's a thank you. And that's a thank you to this age group for folding those. They've been folding those orders of service almost every Sunday for over a year. Yeah, you guys did that. You know what else you do? You help move the chairs if the chairs need moved and you're here already. You guys pitch in all the time. That's volunteering. And you even volunteer to clean your classroom every now and then. Yeah, how about that? You volunteer to decorate. You volunteer for lots of things. You can volunteer and it can be something very small that ripples out. Folding a couple orders of service on a Sunday morning might not feel that important, but it ripples out and it provides all of these people something to look at and something that guides them through their morning worship. That's pretty awesome. You guys have been doing that for a long time. So in a minute, but not yet, we're going to head upstairs. We're going to talk a little bit more about volunteering, and we're going to do something really cool. But I have to talk in the big microphone today. So you guys head back to your seats. First, give me a high five as a thank you for your amazing volunteering. High one, high five, high one. And we'll head upstairs when I'm done talking.
Helen Keller once said, "Alone, we can do little. Together, we can do so much." So our service today is to honor, celebrate, and thank some of our many volunteers. We love our volunteers because they help us fulfill our covenant to be a force for good in the world. And they help everything to stay afloat on the good ship UUCR. We know that all volunteers want to do things that will help others. But why should people volunteer? And why do some people just love it? Helpguide.org is an independent nonprofit that runs one of the world's leading mental health websites. Each month, millions of people from all around the world turn to them for trustworthy information they can use to improve their mental health and make healthy changes. They have identified surprising benefits that come through volunteer work. Volunteers make new friends and contacts. They increase their social and relationship skills. And volunteering is good for our minds and bodies. It helps counteract the effects of stress, anger, and anxiety. The social contact aspect of helping and working with others can have a profound effect on our overall psychological well-being. Volunteering combats depression. By measuring hormones and brain activity, researchers have discovered that being helpful to others delivers immense pleasure. Human beings are hardwired to give to others. The more we give, the happier we feel. Studies have found that those who volunteer have a lower mortality rate than those who do not. Older volunteers tend to walk more, find it easier to cope with everyday tasks, are less likely to develop high blood pressure, and have better thinking skills. As we get older, that'll help. By volunteering, we are not only being a force for good in the world, we're also being a source for good in our own lives. And now, Jesse McKean will come and talk about volunteering.
So I'm specifically speaking to volunteers in lifespan faith development. You may stand, wave, if you're one of those volunteers, and you might not even realize that you're one of those volunteers, because parents, you volunteer all the time. You are our cleanup crew. You are helping herd the loud feet up the stairs. So first, I want to begin with thank you to all the lifespan faith development volunteers. From helping in children's religious education to facilitating brown bag theology, or even just thinking about our programs, wishing us well, and bringing in your really cool nature finds, or donating some playground balls. The lifeblood of lifespan faith development is volunteerism. I get so many questions about what a volunteer does with lifespan faith development. And since I'm limited to 2 minutes, I'm just gonna go with everything. Volunteers truly are everything. They provide love to our children and create magic during craft time. Volunteers have revitalized our adult religious education program by sharing their knowledge in brown bag theology and showing up and having a discussion after a movie with popcorn theology. And volunteers are our cleanup crew, as I've mentioned. They're brainstormers, chaperones, chauffeurs, first aiders, comforters, entertainers, confidants, and so much more. You, as our volunteers, show our children and teens that you care deeply about projects that make their hearts heavy or furrow their brows. You exemplify care and kindness, and a lot of you are just awesome at bringing the fun, I'll be honest. But I can't let this Volunteer Sunday go by without mentioning our Next Generation Youth Group, which surprisingly none of them are here right now. As usual, the teens aren't here when I'm talking about them. They have been our powerhouse volunteers this year. They've guided non-readers through independent activities and really boosted their reading abilities through our craft times and our projects upstairs. They have hauled the trash out twice in one day if we've had big projects. They filled our religious education and children's church with joy and excitement. And you might not know this, but they're a whole lot cooler than me. So when they're up there with the kids, we have a really good time. They've stepped in where our lack of adult volunteerism has perhaps meant that we might have to cancel a program. The teens have stepped in and said, we'll do it. And for that, we are infinitely grateful. It's not about a reward for those volunteers, those teen volunteers or adult volunteers. It's about the joy that we can share in our religious education programming, whether we are a group of seniors in high school, or a group of people who will be seniors in high school in 20 years. So I want to thank all the volunteers, and it really comes from the bottom of my heart. We could not do this without volunteerism. And if you're curious about where you fit in to volunteering in lifespan faith development, luckily, we can let you know about that. So thank you so much to our Lifespan Faith Development volunteers, and I cannot wait to tell you what else we're doing this time next year. And now I'd like to invite up Sherry Bernath with the auction committee, and kiddos will meet at the back door.
Good morning. Well, as a lot of you know, our UUCR service auction is our second largest fundraiser of the year. It's also a really, really fun social evening and a social event. Everything that we auction off is donated by congregation members. We don't have regular meetings. We start to plan our auction event, which is in the fall, usually in June, and then after that we have meetings as we need them. A lot of things are kind of in place because we've been doing this for almost 4 decades. It is just a fun event. We welcome things like art, we welcome things like meals and events and hikes and things like this. These are the kinds of things that people donate, and it's very, very popular. We have a live event in October for certain kinds of items, and then we have usually a week-long silent auction online. And then we end it, and that's the end of our auction for the season, or for the year. We do it every year, and it's really a popular event, and it's a lot of fun to be involved with. And now I'm going to introduce Lynn Yates.
You won't have to turn around for too much longer. We're just doing it from back here because we are both on the audiovisual team. So this job is something that sort of fulfills your desire to be the Wizard of Oz, you know, the guy behind the curtain who gets to turn all the buzzers, the bells and whistles and the sliders and everything. But it's a lot of fun. I've listed all of our members up there on the slide. Betsy is our fearless leader, Betsy Biesenbach. She keeps us all in line. She does pretty much everything behind the scenes and keeps us scheduled. Then Sherry often does the live streaming, so part of the job is to make sure that all the folks at home can see the service on Sunday mornings. And so we have the streaming software, and it runs through YouTube live. You can also, if you miss the service, be able to watch the services on the YouTube channel. So they're in perpetuity. The job back here that I'm doing today looks a lot like that slider board up on the screen. This job looks really hard, but it's really not if you've done it a couple times. So if you're not afraid of technology, but you have a healthy respect for technology, this would be a good job for you because it's a lot of fun. James and Sarah and Curtis, who I think is on maternity leave with his wife, are the other members of the team, and they help set up mics, and those are some of the things we do. Set up the mics and any audio visuals that need to go on the screen, and update the Sunday video and all that sort of thing. So if you're interested, get in touch with Betsy. Training is available. We'd be happy to train you. We usually just have 2 volunteers scheduled each week, so you can plan ahead for when you're available. And you have to understand that if things can go wrong, they probably will. And so you just have to have a healthy ability to roll with whatever happens on a Sunday morning. So that's it. And I would like to next introduce Sally Garber. She's going to go to the front to talk about the Caring Committee.
Good morning. My name is Sally Garber. I'm the chair of the Caring Committee. You heard the history of our committee a couple weeks ago with Terry Smith, so I don't need to go into that. We're the people who prepare meals for members and friends following surgery or during illness. We also provide rides when needed to places like doctors or different appointments that people need to go to. We also send lots of cards. Our most visible job is presenting the lifelines each Sunday, and this morning you'll see Linda Wood doing that. I'd like to ask all the members of the Caring Committee to stand, please. We're a pretty big group. Now, I want you all to remain standing, and what I'd like to have happen is anybody who prepared a meal, who gave somebody a ride, who sent a card, would you all please stand? And I know there are a lot of you because I just got a lot of cards myself. So you see, we've got about half the congregation standing now, and I bet there's some people at home standing too. So I want to thank all of you. The Caring Committee is really, I think, the heart of UUCR, and we're real proud of what we do, and we really thank all of you for what you do. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Trina Scott, who's the chair of the coffee team.
Hello. I'm not accustomed to being in front of crowds, so please bear with me. First of all, I'd like for any present members of the coffee team to please stand. There we go. He's got his coffee. Okay. I'd like to say I am very grateful to have found this wonderful, loving, and giving church community. Many members generously devote their time and efforts supporting our church community in numerous ways. Matt Livingston led the coffee team for a long time. I'm not sure how long, but I was told it was a long time. And I just recently agreed to step up and help. It has been a great way to serve and get acquainted with this great coffee team and other members. The team consists of Mary Reedus, Barbara Horton, Bruce Stewart, James Harshfield, Mark and Linda Wachels, pardon me if I mispronounce that, Matt Livingston, Robert Wallenborn, and Teresa Poole. What I have realized is that coffee hour isn't just about coffee. Naturally, it's a great way to welcome visitors, but it also fosters fellowship and friendships among us all. I often witness committee members having the opportunity to network and plan and sort out details regarding their activities. A lot of good things go on during our coffee social, and I thank the coffee team and this church for allowing me to be a part of it. So, coffee hour isn't just coffee and cookies. It brings us together in such a nice kind of way. As a team, we rotate signing up for a Sunday at a time, which is very simple, with minimal time commitment, and it is based on your availability. With just a few more volunteers, you could be needed only about one Sunday every 4 to 6 weeks. So it is an easy way to make a big contribution to our church. By the way, we do love those cookies, and we welcome any extra finger food you wish to contribute from home and add to the coffee table. Now I introduce Chris Yates with the Connections Committee.
Good morning. As Trina said, my name's Chris Yates, and I represent the Connections team. We're also known as or formerly known as the Membership Committee. And our function, as our name implies, is to help people get connected at UUCR, especially newcomers and visitors. When people come for the first time or one of their first times, we offer to be the contact person that they can go to find out whatever they want to know about the church and the programs. We provide the Sunday morning greeters that you see in the foyer every Sunday. Some of those folks are from our committee, and then we recruit other congregants to help us greet. It's an easy and fun way to get to meet new people. We welcome anybody who'd like to help us greet. All you need is a friendly face, and there's always a member of our committee there as lead greeter to show you the ropes. So join us if you can. You can volunteer as often or as infrequently as you like as a greeter. Other things we do is we host some newcomer meetups. We intermittently will have a social event where newcomers are specifically invited so that they can socialize with one another and get to know some of the leadership of the church, such as board members and the minister. Periodically, we schedule an intro to UU class for those who aren't familiar with our faith tradition, and also for some of us old-timers who might want to do a little brushing up on that, in conjunction with the minister and the director of lifespan faith development, who would be the actual leaders of the class. We just help facilitate that and make sure that newcomers know about it and are encouraged to attend. And then when people are ready to join the church, we guide them through the pathway to membership. It's a pretty simple process, but we want people to understand that it's a commitment to join a covenantal faith community such as UUCR. So that's part of our mission too, is to help people become members of the church. And so that's basically it in a nutshell. We try to, whether someone is new or has been here a while, we try to help them get connected, and that's why we're called the Connections team. We have a few of our committee members here today. If you'd stand, please. All right. And I would like to introduce Bob Egbert, who's going to talk about the Safety Committee and the Green Team, I believe.
Good morning. As Chris said, I'm representing the green team and the safety team. One observation I've made over the years is a lot of people give to worthy causes. Some people give words of support, and some people give money. But the most valuable thing that a person can give is their time. And all of our volunteers give their time. The green team exists to put our seventh principle into action. We affirm and promote the respect for the web of all existence of which we are a part. And we take our volunteer time and take action and take it to the street every month during our climate and clean energy rallies. So everyone or anyone here who has ever come out to the street on the last Sunday of the month and held a sign, please stand up. Our next rally is on April 28th, by the way. So if you have not come out with us to take action, please feel free to do so. You don't need an appointment. Safety team. The safety team has your back. Some of you wonder about the person who may be sitting out there in the hall or standing out in the hall by the corner, looking lost, wondering what they're doing. Well, they're on watch for any emergency that may spring up. While you're watching this podium, or when your children is in lifespan faith development, the safety monitor is out there watching all the unoccupied spaces for the unexpected, the things that we hope won't happen. Now, I know here there are two safety monitors, Susie over there, and Chris, who has more jobs than she knows what to do with. Moorman is out in the lobby as I speak. I don't believe James Overholser is here yet. And Betsy Biesenbach, who has more jobs than any human being should have, also helps out occasionally. So, that's us. Carry on.
Thank you, Bob, for that introduction. I had my cheat sheet. Thank you, Bill. Okay. I have been chair of the Welcoming Congregation, or Pride, committee since Erica Joyner, that good troublemaker, recruited me to the job shortly after I joined the church in 2021. We are a small and mighty band whose joyful purpose is to ensure that UUCR remains loud and proud in its support of our LGBTQ members and visitors. We do this by following the recommended annual practices set out by UUA as part of its Welcoming Congregation program, which include the crafting of worship services of particular relevance to the queer community, active participation in events such as the Southwest Virginia Pride Festival, which we're going to do again this year, regular summaries in the UUCR newsletter of important observation days, and an educational event for UUCR members on a topic of significance. Last year, we organized a very well-attended panel discussion about the rise of anti-transgender policies in Roanoke County schools, where we had representatives from the Virginia ACLU come and a local activist group and a student come and speak. It was really good on a troubling topic. This year's event, we have an idea. I'm not going to announce it yet because we're just kicking it around, but you can bet you're going to want to come, and if you don't, I'm going to stick Erica on you. And I realized I forgot to introduce myself. I am Cindy Lawler. Will all members who are here of the Pride Committee please stand? Yay, thank you so much. I am also the chief cook, bottle washer, and barmaid of the UUCR library, which is housed in the Olin Room. My only qualification is that I love books the way other people love island paradises. Nate Jones helped set up some new shelves for me when we got them in. Jessie McCann got me trained up on the online catalog and search tool she licensed for us. Bert and Joanna Spetzler graciously donated money for a library fund that I can now draw on for new material. At some point, I may recruit help, volunteers, if I get the bandwidth to, for example, organize a book fair featuring titles from the UUA online bookstore in spirit. They have a whole program for that, and that'd be fun, I think, for us to do. Or I'd also at some point like to have an information table out in the coffee hour with featuring some books from the library on special topics. When I get my head together around that, I may be asking for a little help from you all. But in the meantime, I hope you will explore the 681 books currently in our collection, which are cataloged by a call number and shelved under 6 main categories: Unitarian Universalism, spirituality and religion, social issues, philosophy, human development, and church life. I've tried to make the books easy to browse and easy to check out. There's a handout that explains how to do that. And there are also instructions about the criteria for donations that you can make, and that I will gratefully accept. So thank you for that. And Dotsie Clifton will now come up and describe the work of the Racial Justice Team.
With the Racial Justice Team, please stand up. I didn't want to count that in my 2 minutes. So, Teresa's here, Lorraine is here, and Dana, Louise is here. Okay, she was Louise Chagan, and Dana and Joan Wages are standing up at home. And Henry's pointing at Judy on the Racial Justice Team. Anyway, the Racial Justice Team was formed with the vision to facilitate the evolution of ourselves and the congregation from non-racist to active anti-racist, activists in the work toward bringing about racial justice. We started out by presenting 2 white supremacy teach-ins to raise awareness about our own white privilege and the structural racism at play in our culture, in our institutions, and yes, even in our congregation, and of the ever-present difficulties of simply being Black in America. This culminated in our joining with Williams Memorial Baptist Church to incorporate the Pledge to End Racism initiative in our congregations and to encourage our members and theirs to sign the pledge and then live it. The pledge can be viewed and perhaps signed in the social hall today. Subsequently, the RJT has organized and presented 5 Living the Pledge workshops with 67 individual participants who have begun living out the pledge in ways that have become evident in our church life and in our community. It has been delightful to see other groups in the church share our passion for racial justice. For example, much of the reading in Living the Questions and the many inspirational services centering on racial issues organized by the phenomenal worship associates. We've seen the UUCR name highlighted in the public square by watching lots of those workshop participants stand up for racial justice in their work around Evans Spring, the Roanoke Reparations Group, and other social justice groups in the community. Our congregants always seem to show up at all sorts of events put on in and by the Black community. Each week, the team publicizes community events related to racial justice in the weekly newsletter. We see the RJT's primary role as facilitators and catalysts for congregational and community change. We encourage activists within our community to create their own anti-racist programs and activities and pull other congregants into the fray. If you haven't taken the workshop yet, we hope you'll sign up for the one in the fall. We are so proud to be part of this searching, caring congregation. So many people have helped us. Will the workshop leaders, organizers, and facilitators who happen to be here today please stand up? I don't think there are very many here today. But there are lots of them out there. Thank you all for the growth and work you are doing to make Roanoke a more integrated and equitable community. Now, I didn't get a person to introduce. Right there in front of you. Oh, good. Okay, but I'm going to introduce myself again because 2 sentences. I'm chair of the nominating committee. I prepared nothing for this. But what we do is try to seek out people who are interested in being a part of either an endowment, nominating, the board. We're looking for people who would like to be involved in leadership roles in the community. So, if you are at all, we'd sure like to hear from you. Okay, I am introducing Bill, the Honorable Bill.
Well, at the beginning of last year, when I had finally totally retired, I thought it'd be a good idea to get our congregation involved in helping one Saturday a month with serving the lunch over at Ram House. I talked to Walker Hartman about it, and I said, I'm going to ask for an announcement to be printed in the order of service and in the newsletter. And Walker said, yeah, you can do that, but you probably have to contact a lot of people, do some rattling of the cages to get people signed up. I was thankfully very surprised that I did not. In response to the printed announcements, I got about 10 or 12 people signed up right away, and about 5 or 6 more have joined us since that time. So you don't have to do it every time it rolls around. As a matter of fact, I haven't been there very many times at all, which is especially helpful on the weekends when we're out of town, which is something we plan to do a lot in the retirement. So will everyone who's please been involved with the Ram House lunch service please stand? And now, Leah Whitney. Leah's going to tell us about reading seeds.
Good morning. I'm representing Reading Seeds this morning. We were founded in 2012, so we're a long-standing group and founded by members of this congregation. We are a homegrown children's literacy program, something that's near and dear to most of our hearts. We are staffed entirely by volunteers, and this year alone we will have donated probably a little bit over 300 hours this school year with our volunteers and committee members. As a mission group, we aim to provide children from low-income families in the church's own neighborhood and nearby a chance at a better chance at reading success by helping them build their own home libraries. And there's a lot of evidence that shows how early childhood reading enhances educational attainment later in life. Reading Seeds donates books to the Head Start centers at Raleigh Court and Brandhart and Sims. And Head Start, if you don't know, is a preschool and child care program serving young children from infants to 4-year-olds. And these families all come from working class, poverty-stricken families. And we distribute books. So I'm sorry, I'm having a little issue here. We distribute books to each classroom twice a month, and each child is receiving one book to take home during this time to help build their libraries. Our program also includes quarterly deliveries of books to pre-K through third grade pupils and fourth and fifth grade Snack-a-Pack students, and this includes 4 schools as well: Grandin Court, Wasena, Virginia Heights, and Fishburne Park. We do not call on our volunteers very often outside of our committee members, who please stand up if you're here from the committee or if you have helped volunteer for our program. Thank you all. Not only do these wonderful people help us get these books processed when we have shipments that come in of about 800 books, and it's a lot of fun. We all believe highly in the mission of helping educate children, so we have a fun time together. And we have received also some very generous donations from this congregation that we are so thankful for. And please do know that we appreciate all of your time and efforts so much. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Judy Nelson.
I know, listen. All right, I only have a minute to speak. Everyone, wiggle your fingers. Go ahead, wiggle your toes. And I just want you to wave to somebody across the room to say good morning. Yeah, I represent the ushering, and you guys have all passed the test. You can all be ushers. If you've been an usher, please rise. If you've in the last year, thank you very much. Good. One last thing I want to say, and that is, you know, a wise woman by the name of Linda Wood once said that if you volunteer, especially on Sunday mornings, that really we're all part of the caring committee. And it is really important for all of us to do what we're able to do. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. And our next person is, where am I? There, Jane. She's going to do the kitchen committee.
Okay, I'm Jane Harrison, representing the least glamorous committee in this church, the Kitchen Committee. There's only 4 of us, and there will be no standing because I'm the only one here today. The others are Mary Harshfield, Pam Yates, and Jean Edmonds. What we do is once a week, we each take a week, once a month, and we go in and we check the kitchen usually after the day or two after the Sunday service to make sure that things are put away, that all the equipment that we use was cleaned, that we have enough supplies, and then we also have the very unglamorous task of cleaning out the refrigerator. Okay, it's a nice little job. It's an easy little job. We would welcome just 4 of us. We'd like to have some more people come and join us. So if you're interested in cleaning a kitchen, you're certainly welcome to join us. Mary Harshfield is our chairman, and she'd be glad to take any volunteers. Next, Walter Hartman.
Thank you very much, Jane. I'm here to talk to you about Family Promise. Family Promise is a national organization, been around about 25 years. Our premise is that families should stay together while they are rehabbing from being homeless. And so we provide a shelter for the parent and the children where they can sleep together and stay together and eat together in the evenings. 88% of our graduates find housing after the program. 90% are in those houses a year after the program. And we boast more than 1,000 volunteers here in the Roanoke Valley. Again, churches throughout the valley help with the Family Promise. We all work over at Alexa House, which is a wonderful ministry from Second Presbyterian. They've just recently remodeled top to bottom a house right across the street from Second Pres. 2-story, 2 full kitchens, central air. Everything has been repainted and refloored. It's a wonderful place to get your act together. I was there Friday night last. We had one parent with 2 toddlers, one parent with 2 teenagers, one white, one black. The Salem headquarters is where they get all of their training for jobs and help with finding a home. And they provide case management there at about 1/3 the cost you'd normally have to pay for providing case management. And the training, of course, helps them with jobs and with housing. We have next a speaker for the landscaping, and that's going to be Miss Nancy. Please welcome her.
Hi, I'm Nancy Bratton, and I'm representing the Grounds Committee, which Mary Harshfield has led up and has done a fantastic job. She's written a description here. The Grounds Committee, the non-grassy area, has traditionally been maintained by many volunteers with a coordinator who arranged work days and was responsible for keeping the grounds. Recently, Mary has formed a grounds committee, which now has 8 members. The purpose is to share decision-making among more people and to help with long-range planning. As plants mature, plans that were made 20 years ago, like the Memorial Garden, for example, need adjustments to accommodate different conditions. The Grounds Committee will focus on the Memorial Garden this year. So many of you who came in through the front door or who were passing the church this week, you saw we've taken out one of the big Japanese silkovas. And it's going to let a lot of sun in and really open up a lot of more opportunity to make that Memorial Garden nice. Last year, a native plant garden was installed in the triangular plot of land near the parking lot over here. We will be watching to see what happens this spring, summer, with what we've planted. Going forward, the committee would like to emphasize native plants when new ones are added. And this has been Mary's initiative. She's just done a really inspiring job. So far this spring, we've had 15 volunteers come out for work days. If you've come out, stand up. Please let myself or Mary know if you would like to be added to our email list that we use to notify you for work days. We can always use the help. Great, thanks. Now Lorraine for the choir.
Whoa, something's flying off the... Okay, so I am Lorraine Fleck, and I am here on behalf of the UUCR Choir, and you will be very happy to know that I am the last one on the list. I don't need to tell you who the choir are. They're the people sitting up here on the choir risers who stood up and sang. And on this Volunteer Appreciation Sunday, we thought perhaps you might be wondering why we choir folks are really happy to spend a few hours each week rehearsing and singing for you at Sunday services. So we recently conducted a highly scientific survey of our choir members asking the question, what is your favorite thing about being in the choir? I am happy to share a sample of the responses with you now. Practicing a song until we get really good, making beautiful music and sharing it with the congregation on Sunday morning. Having a group to sing harmony with, something you can't do by yourself. I love to sing but would never do it publicly on my own. Hiding in a group is much more fun. The choir has been like a family to me, except I like the choir. Carrie makes it so much fun with her sense of humor and energy. The way we all look out for each other. Choir fits us like a comfortable old pair of shoes. Carrie, she's the bomb. You don't have to sing like Caruso to be in the choir. If you can carry a tune, you are qualified. Everyone in the choir is so welcoming and kind. It's a place where we can come together to make music without judgment, mostly. Carrie is unflappable. I don't know how she does it. Was she born that way? The camaraderie of the choir and Carrie's uncanny way of getting the best out of us in the shortest amount of time. We may be musical misfits, but the love of music is so obvious and tangible in our choir. What would church be without music? The choir is an integral part of UUCR services and never fails to raise everyone's spirits. And finally, last but not least, we all love choir jokes. So here are a few examples. Choir, what is always the correct answer to any multiple choice question Carrie asks? Letter B. There you go. Choir, what does Carrie say when we're all goofing off or not paying attention at rehearsal? Choir, what highly technical instrument do we use to measure whether a song is too sentimental or cheesy? The chronometer. The chronometer, exactly. We actually had a picture of one, but we couldn't, it had long gone, long disappeared. We just use it without. In any case, we are all very happy to volunteer for the choir, and thank you, the congregation, for the opportunity. We get way more out of it than we put in. In our completely unbiased opinion, the choir is one of the most fun and rewarding experiences at UUCR, and we have the very best, most awesome director ever. The end.
voluntarily reach into your pockets and help us continue to support the work of this church. Collect the morning off. Thank you all for your gifts, your support of this congregation. Someday we might even have enough money to get a heat back on.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Linda Wood, representing the Caring Committee this morning. And I'd like to remind you, if you don't know, if you're a visitor or a new member, that the way that you can get your name in the book is to tell us if you have something joyful going on in your life or something that you're concerned about that you would like everybody to know about and to support you with. You can do that by letting somebody in the caring committee know, or letting the church office know, or writing it in the Lifelines book, which is on the altar in the mornings before church. So into this sacred space, we bring news about Betsy. Betsy had surgery on March 25th to remove a cyst from her spine. The surgery went well, but she went back to the hospital last week because of a cerebrospinal fluid leak. She is at Roanoke Memorial and prefers text and emails. She cannot reach the room phone. Facebook messages are also okay. We have a card for Betsy. If you would like to sign this, this will be available in the coffee hour, back there in the coffee hour area, so please sign it when you go back there. And Teresa will make sure that she gets this with everybody's good wishes on it. And I have a couple of joys. First of all, I wanted to say, I live in Salem, so I always approach the church down Brandon. And for some reason, a couple of weeks ago, I approached down Grandin, and I was just blown away by how beautiful, how much curb appeal our church has. The grounds committee has done so much work. It's just beautiful. And the flags, it just really made me feel great to see that. And the other joy I have is, aren't we happy to see Rosalie back at church this morning? How long has it been since you've been here? How long has it been since you've been here? A few months. Well, it's more than that, but we are so happy that she's in good spirits and good health and is with us today. Now is your chance, if you have something on your heart that you'd like to light a candle for, to please come forward.
I can change the world with my own two hands, make it a better place with my own two hands, find a grace with my own two hands, with my own two hands, make peace on earth with my own two hands, bring the kingdom with my own two hands, with my own two hands, I'm gonna make it a brighter place with my own two hands, make it a safer place with my own two hands, gonna help the human race with my own two hands, with my I can hold you with my own two hands, and comfort you with my own two hands. But you've got to use your own two hands, use your
And now, we celebrate the moments of collaboration and the successes born out of it, the times when our efforts have joined together to create something bigger and better than we could have imagined. We're grateful for the moments of celebration when we can recognize and appreciate the achievements and milestones of our teams. May we always remember that the greatest rewards come from working together. As we celebrate the moments of joy and pride that come with success, we ask for the strength and support to continue meeting the challenges ahead. May it be so.
Well, we've run out of time for announcements, so I can avoid embarrassing myself with the first one that's printed in your order of service. And the second one, I'll just say that I love listening to NPR, and I hope they continue to receive enough funds to keep it going with our help, along with many, many others. Closing hymn.
So sorry, I lost my voice. Our closing hymn is a zipper song, which means we have a word, and then you're going to give me some words that we will just insert into the phrase. So we'll do 4 verses. The first one is going to be, you got to do when the Spirit says do. The choir made a video of this during COVID, so if you love this song, you can find us in video dancing to it on YouTube. So I need 3 other you got to blank when the Spirit says blank. And if you don't say them, then I'll just make, like greet or dig or what? Dance, thank you. All right, that's a textbook one right there. All right, you got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You need 2 more. Love when the Spirit says love, and 1 more. Sing when the Spirit says sing. Okay. Look, they're all in here. Okay. All right, so we'll start with do. Yes, and then we'll do dance, then sing, then love. Do, dance, sing, love. I'll call it out, and you'll know what to do because it'll be very repetitive.
You can't dance with sitting down.
All right. There we go. You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do. Oh Lord, you got to do when the Spirit says do. Now we're gonna dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance. Oh Lord, you got to dance when the Spirit says dance. Sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing. Oh Lord, you got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Love. You got to love when the Spirit says love. You got to love when the Spirit says love. When the Spirit says love, you got to love. Oh Lord, you got to love when the Spirit says love. 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 Spirit says love.
Finally, I want to ask 2 more volunteers to stand. The Wyatts, who have graciously donated the flowers for this morning. I encourage you before you leave to come up and just smell how beautiful they really are. We celebrate the moments of collaboration. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. May we find the patience to work together as family. Let us work together with understanding and compassion in our hearts. Let us not be rude or arrogant toward one another as we light the way to the beloved community. Amen.